Hello, hello. Welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk today about how you can position yourself to charge premium rates as a copywriter. Because there are so many copywriters out there charging $15, $20, $25 an hour. And while that's definitely a good rate, that's a rate that you can start at, that's a rate you can start to build your career at. The truth is, there are companies out there who are more than happy to pay you $40, $50, $60, $75, $100 an hour for your skills as a copywriter. I can say that from experience, both getting hired by these companies at those prices, and I can also say it on the side of corporate America, hiring copywriters and paying them at these prices. And so I want to demystify some of how you can do that and how you can really start to position yourself to not only charge those rates, but to feel really confident in it and to be worth those rates. Because that's what it's all about. You want brands to feel really good about paying you that and to see your value and to know it's worth it. And you yourself want to get paid a rate that enables you to create financial independence and enables you to travel the world if you want, or to have amazing life experiences, or to be able to spend more time with your family and not just be tied to working nonstop to make ends meet. And so if you can elevate your skills, you really can do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that, how I've done it, and how I teach other people to do it, whether they are on my team or they at my agency, Buzzworthy Content, for those of you who don't know that, or whether they are part of my program, Freelance to Freedom, which helps people build this six-figure copywriting career that they can do from anywhere in the world, because that's been my experience and I'm super passionate about it. So first things first, I would say, is make sure you have a solid body of work. And that means like samples. So can you demonstrate your expertise in writing blog posts or guides or emails or social media or case studies or all of the above? If brands are going to pay you a good rate, it really goes a long way to show them what you've created before. It not only shows them that you have expertise in maybe their industry or in that format of content or even a breadth of content, but it shows them that you can take on their voice or different voices. And it really just goes a lot further to say, I'm a great copywriter, here's my examples, here's my portfolio, versus the hundreds of other pitches they get where people just say, oh, I would love this opportunity to work with you. And so that's what I would say is first things first. Now, you don't have to go and build this immaculate, expensive portfolio right away. If you have work samples that you can put together either in an email pitch that you send people or into some kind of PDF, like PowerPoint type of presentation that you can package then into a PDF to email, that's a fine option too. You know, there's other portfolio sites out there where you can start to build that portfolio. But that's going to be the first thing that's going to show you're really worth that higher rate. And brands are going to be able to see the difference in your writing versus all the dozens or hundreds of other people that they see. Number one, you're going to be one of the rare ones that has a portfolio, as strange as that is. And then two, if you do a really good job on your samples, you're going to be able to just demonstrate that you are far and away better than the other options out there. All right, so that's number one, is make sure you have your work samples on point. I would say the second one is to demonstrate that you know not just writing, but strategy. And so the brands understand the value of copywriting. That's why it's such an amazing field in so many ways, because you're not selling brands on the fact that they need a copywriter or content marketing. They know they have so much content to create to keep their clients engaged, to get new clients, to demonstrate their own value, that they know they need someone to help offload that for them. But if you can go beyond just the production mechanism, and if you can actually say, hey, I'm a partner in the strategy side, I know what you're looking for, I understand how to bridge that gap, then that means you're so much more valuable to them. That you know the strategy, that they don't need to go hire 3 other employees to take on SEO or content strategy, that they actually have a writer that takes all those positions in one. And do you think they're going to want to pay you a little more for that versus hiring 3 other full-time positions? Absolutely. Then you can take on copywriting. You can be a partner and an editor. Maybe you can help with WordPress publishing. Maybe you can help from the strategy lens and say, hey, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to grow your revenue. Here's a way we could do that with this blog post. And so I used to be a content strategist. That's why I know that this is so powerful for brands. And it goes beyond just having writing that, they can put out there and maybe it gets traction or maybe it doesn't. And instead, they have a partner in deciding what's actually going to turn into results, what's going to bring more people into their website, what's going to convert into more leads for their email list, what's going to help them take an email and get it opened and turn into actual buyers. So that makes you so valuable to these brands, and you can absolutely charge a rate that equals that then. So really learn this strategy. And I teach this in my program, Freelance to Freedom, but there's so many pieces of it. I mean, it could go from SEO and learning how to rank higher in Google through your blog posts or your website. It could be in terms of like a buyer's journey or buyer persona. There's a lot of different content strategies, but if you can bridge that gap between I'm not just every other writer out there, but I am a partner, I understand this strategy, then that is going to go a long way for you being able to charge rates of $50 an hour, $75 an hour, $100 an hour or more and be worth it. Okay? Another thing that I would say is important beyond having some solid work samples and some content strategy expertise is knowing how to pitch yourself. So you can be the best writer, the best strategist out there, but if you don't know how to communicate your value to a brand, you might not get paid what you're worth. And so you want to know how to actually position yourself and pitch yourself to these companies. And that can be everything from making sure you have a really polished personal brand, making sure that your portfolio is super clean, design-wise, edit-wise, it's comprehensive, it's packaged really nicely. It can be making sure that your pitches really catch brands' attention right away so that you aren't just one of the other 100 people in their inbox, but they see from the second they see that little preview in an email inbox of some sort that you are a person that, oh, I want to read that. I want to read and actually look at their portfolio and open it because what they wrote sounds really compelling. You want to make sure that there's a level of polish to your work, and that goes into pitching yourself as well, where you may be a good writer, but if you just miss little things here and there in the editing or your email signature, or just little things are sloppy, it does communicate to brands that you might be sloppy with their brand as well. And so it's just little things like that. I mean, those are 5 good examples right there, but there's even more to it. Again, I teach this in Freelance to Freedom, and I'll drop some details down there below. But that is a great way to make sure that not only are you worth these higher rates, that it's an equal exchange for both parties, but when they meet you, when they look up your profiles online, when they open your portfolio, when you even email them and want to get them to open your portfolio, that you're demonstrating your value. And so all of that's really important. I think another thing, and this will be the last one that I touch on today, is just the more work that you get, the more clients you book out with, even if it's in just hours, even if you have a few steady clients and they take up all your hours, that really positions you to be in a place to then be able to charge higher and higher rates for the next clients that come on. And that's because you don't need their work as badly. You're completely full in hours or clients. And so it puts you in a really healthy position to be able to say, just like if you were a hairstylist or any, a manicurist or a fashion stylist or an interior designer, like any other service-based business, where once you're booked out, all of a sudden you have some bargaining power to say, I love your brand. I would love to work with you, but here's my new rate. And you don't even have to say new, but just here's my rate. And some will bite and some won't, but you don't have to care as much because you still have as many hours and clients. And so the right ones who come on board will want to work with you. And once they see that you are full on clients and you have an amazing portfolio and you have a great personal brand, that is all going to work in your favor of being able to charge and command and be worth these more premium rates. And so I hope that these give you just some really solid, actionable ideas for how to build a very profitable, sustainable, secure copywriting career. Because that's the amazing thing, is it doesn't take a lot more. It just takes some more intentionality and some more learning and understanding to be able to command these higher rates and to start charging $50 or $75 or $100 an hour. And by the way, on a 50-week-a-year work schedule, that is a six-figure or even a multi-six-figure career. So if you're charging $100 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week, you are already making $200,000 that year. If you want to work half the amount of time, you can still make six figures. If you want to even start at $50 an hour and still work a full work week, that's six figures right there. Not to get into the math, but I've done the math, so I know these numbers like the back of my hand, and I've been paid these things, so I'm very familiar with, oh wow, that's exactly what this maps out to. But that's how quickly you can start to create freedom financially and lifestyle-wise for yourself if you can get yourself out of the pack and start to establish your brand and your abilities as more premium than the rest, right? Like, you know more, so you're worth more. You can demonstrate your own value. So again, those four things would be: get some solid work samples in place, definitely know the content strategy as well as just copywriting. Both are skills you can learn. So whether you're a good writer or not, it's all very learnable. And I know this because I train my writers in my agency every single day, from beginning writers to very proficient ones. Make sure that you know how to position yourself, and then start to get that workload filled up where you are in a position to experiment with raising your rates. Okay, if this sounds interesting to you, if this sounds compelling, if you want to learn more about how I was able to build this kind of business that enabled me to travel the world and to have financial security and independence, and just the peace that comes from knowing that you can go out and make money for yourself at any time, to be generous with your family, with your community, with your own life and experiences, then I'll drop some details below where you can learn more. But otherwise, I hope this gets you started and you just have some fun playing with all of these things and building a more sustainable, profitable, fulfilling career as a freelance copywriter and really as your own boss.